Welcome to the Mentors and Moguls podcast, your source for the inside scoop from some of the world's most accomplished business leaders, athletes, and creatives on how they've achieved success. I'm Heather Stone, a serial entrepreneur with a passion for helping others to overcome challenges and discover their untapped potential. Join me and our guests as we teach you how to break through those barriers on the way to crushing your goals. In each episode, I dive into a new topic with an inspiring mentor to find out exactly how they overcame obstacles, slayed self-doubt, and achieved their goals. Today's expert mentoring session is about to start, so grab your pen and let's dive in. Asking your boss for a promotion can be an intimidating concept for many, but it doesn't have to be a swing and a miss in the dark. What if I told you that securing a promotion can be as simple as 3 easy steps? Would you listen? Well, if you're ready to climb to the next rung on the corporate ladder, stay tuned for a candid conversation with Lisa Petersmark. She's an experienced executive, and she shares her secret formula to getting and giving promotions at work. I'm so happy to be joined today by Lisa Petersmark. Welcome, Lisa. So for our listeners, please tell us a little bit about you and what you've been doing and what you're currently up to in the work world today.
Okay, so today I am leading a marketing group for a packaging company. We make dispensing closures, and I'm focused in the personal care area. So, for example, hairspray. The component on the top that makes the product, turns it into a spray, dispenses the product into some form that consumers use. That's the type of dispensing packaging that we work on. So if you think about shampoo or lotion, pumps, tops, anything except like a water bottle cap, plain caps, we don't really focus on.
Very good at certain elements in business, more than others, I would say. Would you share how you approach a challenge? What gets you excited?
Yeah, I think that's, and not just in business, I think in life for me, I'm highly competitive. And all anybody has to say is, you can't do that. And probably one of my best personal pieces of advice is, it isn't saying can't, because that's kind of a cop-out. It's really, what will it take? So when somebody puts a challenge in front of me, my first go-to is, all right, what would I have to do to make that happen? So I've got a diverse background in finance and sales and marketing and general management. So all of that kind of together has helped. I've been able to get exposure in different areas that has helped me come to good solutions and deliver exciting results in business and personally, to be honest. I played volleyball at the University of Michigan for 4 years, was captain 3 of those 4 years. In the span of my entire life, being competitive in sports has really taught me a lot that I've brought to my business career and personal development.
You have a winning record, actually, and you set several records at that time. You kind of shined.
That's correct. Actually, one of my records still stands. I have the most service aces in a season.
Seriously?
Yeah.
At Big Blue.
After all this time, there's still a record of mine that stands.
We are in the presence of greatness.
Sure. In business, you don't need to have a title to be a leader. You can lead in any spot, in any capacity. If you believe passionately in something, take the reins, lead, demonstrate how you think things should go. One of the key things is surround yourself with people that will challenge you, people that will support you, people that will make you better. And if you're in an environment where you're not able to do that, you're not going to become a high-performing team. So be willing to step out or create the environment that you need.
I know you both on and off the court, so to speak. I know that you love to challenge yourself. Most people would sit back at this point and coast on their career record, but not you. It seems like you're always turning around saying, give me the tough stuff. I want something new to tackle. And then when you turn in the final product, you not only turn in a final product that's wonderful, you actually crank it up about 10 levels and then turn it in. That's just the way you're wired. So I understand why you're the captain of the team and why you're always chosen to do the impossible, because you do it. And that brings me to the next point. What do you do when you ask for something new, you ask for a new position, and you get that strange feeling, that lump in your throat that says, oh boy, I just stepped into a brand new arena. What do you think about failing? What do you think when you say, I just might fail, this might be too big of an ask? What does your self-talk look like to get through that?
If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not willing to go outside your comfort zone, you're not going to get a lot of growth. So I have built my career on taking different steps in different functions and stepping into arenas where I may not have the experience, but I have enough confidence in my capability, not just intellectually, but I'm willing to do hard work to figure it out. I may not be the smartest, sharpest tool in the shed, as they say, but I know I'm willing to put the work in to make sure that I get it done. And I think the other piece of that is if you have a really strong team and you're in a position and you're given the opportunity to stretch yourself, be willing to ask for help.
Key. That is key.
It doesn't show a sign of weakness. A lot of people don't want to ask for help because they think it makes them look weak. What it really does, it makes you look like you want to understand and you want to know and you want to learn.
What drives you to really push ahead as opposed to sitting back and remaining comfortable?
I want my competitors to be shaken in their boots. When I wake up in the morning and I go to the office, I firmly believe, and I want the rest of my team to have the confidence that what we're doing is going to put us miles ahead of the competition and we're going to win. So if you come into the office in the morning with that spirit, it's going to be pervasive and it's going to expand and grow, not just across my direct team, but across others in the business as well.
Looking back to your younger self, give her some advice.
People aren't scrutinizing you as closely as you're scrutinizing yourself. So one of the things that I try to tell my team is, don't fall into the paralysis by analysis trap. Perfect is the enemy of good. And if you wait and wait and wait until you think things are perfect, you're missing opportunities elsewhere. Settle, take a breath, look at what you've achieved and enjoy it. Before you move on to the next accomplishments, it's always easy to put a stake in the ground and then say, okay, what's next? Take a minute and acknowledge and celebrate.
Is it okay to ask for a raise when you feel like you deserve it? Do you find that women are afraid to ask for a raise or a promotion? Or letting it be known that they're searching for a future promotion and they approach you and ask if they're ready or how can they best prepare? For instance, they would approach you and say, I'm really not ready yet, but by this time next year is when I want to be in this position. Can you help me with that path? Is that a good idea for someone to do, or should they just keep it to themselves? I
think women don't do that enough, to be honest. And I think they're afraid of is it going to make me look like, I'm just worried about money, or maybe they're worried that, do I deserve this? But honestly, if you can justify, and you've got a track record of, I have accomplished X, Y, and Z, you have a discussion and you say, look, I think I'm worthy of, whether it's a promotion or more money or whatever it might be. But I think the worst that they can say is no. And actually, to be able to put the argument together for why do you deserve that? I think it's important for people to be able to step back and say that. If you're going to keep me as an asset in this company, I should be compensated for the work that I do.
Right. All right. So what should someone do if they finally get up the gumption to ask a superior for a promotion or a raise and they get a negative response or even a flat out no? What should you do?
I think that's an opportunity for the next part of the discussion. So, and in business, I may not have the ability to give you a promotion, a raise, but the answer is, okay, do you acknowledge that what I've presented in terms of the value that I've brought, the things I've delivered, that this makes sense for me to make the request? And then what do we need to do as a business and me personally maybe to take the next step?
Basically, what can come out of that is a more defined roadmap to help you get to where you want to go. I think that discussion is key. It's important to know where you stand and what your superiors are thinking.
I've never perceived it, man or woman, from anybody as a negative. If somebody comes and asks for this, actually, I think it's hey, you are looking for your self-interest and where you want to go in your career. I think it's good for you to step up and ask for what you believe you deserve. And a manager may not know what your aspirations are if you're not asking.
They're not mind readers. I think in the past, women would think that if they put their head down, they were quiet, they worked really hard, they would magically get tapped on the shoulder and get recognized and pulled up through the ranks. That's just not how it works. That's one of the biggest myths. You have to be willing to step up and ask for what you want, or if you're silent, be satisfied with what you have. Think back to some of your first jobs early on in your career. Did those jobs help to shape your career path today? Maybe you were doing something arbitrary. Maybe you were flipping burgers. Were there any lessons that you learned then from those early jobs that you carry through today?
Absolutely. I think probably I've learned more from the positions and things I was doing that I enjoyed the least.
One job that you drew from?
Well, certainly I worked in a factory as a summer job when I was in high school. And you learn a work ethic, you learn respect for, automation and manufacturing and all the things that being in a plant environment involves. But it also taught, and I saw people that had lived in a plant and worked in a plant their entire life. And it was one of the probably most important things that got me fired up to make sure I got my degree. And I did not want to be working in the factory for the rest of my life, doing the same thing, the same job day in and day out. So that at a very early age really gave me a fire. Okay, these are the good things I can take. How do I apply that in how I work day to day in a different environment, in a different business? Yeah, I was also fortunate very early in my professional career as a CPA, working in audit and getting exposure to many different types of businesses as well. So how you could see how businesses were run and oftentimes they were successful in spite of themselves, where you could see ways to improve the operations and business, but they're still able to be successful and drive forward. And a lot of it is the entrepreneurial spirit of the owners and how small business owners really operate and drive growth. It's a big part of the success.
Yes, that would be a perfect foundation.
Yeah.
Did you love numbers? Did you think you would do that forever?
I really did.
Really?
I thought I was going to be a CPA forever. And one of my clients, relatively early in my career, I went home from the job at the end of the day and I said, if I ever leave public accounting, this is exactly the kind of company I would want to go work for. And when they offered me a job after I had run the engagement for a couple of years, I went home and I said, I was surprised. And my husband said, well, do you remember what you said when you first started working with this client? And I said, you're right. And so that's how I ended up getting into packaging.
So you never know when opportunity will come knocking. What's your favorite quality to look for when you're interviewing a male or a female candidate for a job?
To be honest, if I have two candidates that are equal in all capacities and I'm making a decision, if anybody has team sports background or a strong interest in team sports and military, because they know what it takes to work together on a team. How do you may have fallen down, but your teammates are going to lift you up and vice versa. If they need a little extra help from me, I know what to do. Discipline, hard work, training, all of that, I think you get from people within sports teams and obviously within the military as well. So that's a little secret I have when I'm looking at resumes. If that's on somebody's CV, I will definitely ask them questions and they get a leg up.
Lisa, I can't thank you enough for sharing some insights into your goal-crushing approach. I'm sure that you just helped a listener with their next job interview. I can't wait to check in with you next year to see where you are and what challenges you've overcome in 2020.
All right. Thanks for having me.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening to the Mentors and Moguls podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to rate and review the Mentors and Moguls podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find bonus video episodes at mentorsandmogulspodcast.com or check out our events page and our blog at heatherrstone.com. Until next time, make it a great day.